I purchased this vehicle in 2018. I bought it from a friend of mine who bought it a year prior to that. That was the first time I ever saw this car. And it was a totally different style build. The motor, the setup, everything. Like it was black, obviously. I didn't change the color, but I had gone over to his house to go work on it because he needed some help. And this is my third EF second CRX. So I went and looked at it. Push comes to shove, eventually he's like, oh, you know, I'm gonna sell this. So I bought it from him. And the first thing I did was just started going through it.
Do you know who he bought it from?
Some guy in Georgia, I think. The original person who built it was from a Lockheed Martin. So there was some questionable engineering that was done to this vehicle. The motor is a B16A, JDM B16A. The transmission is out of a newer B16 out of the 99 2000 Civic, so it's a hydraulic transmission for the clutch. So it's got a full hydraulic conversion on it, this line here. The clutch master cylinder is inside the dashboard underneath. It's got CTR high compression pistons in it. It's got ARP rod bolts with stock rods. It was blueprinted and balanced at a machine shop. The motor has been put together for minimum 15 years. It's got an LSD out of a JDM GSR transmission, type R. And I have a GSR fifth gear in it as well for a little better cruising, which kind of hinders me on the track because when I go from fourth to fifth, it kind of falls out of its power band a little bit. It has a crank scraper, which mounts inside above the oil pan and does exactly what it sounds like. It scrapes the oil as the crank goes. So in fact, rotates better. You don't have all that weight on the crank from the oil. I replaced the valve seals, I replaced piston rings, I rehoned the walls. It had a totally different intake setup on it. It had a homemade set of ITBs off of a Gixxer 750. And I did everything I could to try to make those work. The car was great full throttle, don't get me wrong. It sounded amazing, it performed great, but I couldn't drive it on the street. It was literally, the car was just bucking everywhere. So I gave up, took them off, put a full Skunk 2 intake manifold on it, Skunk 2 throttle body, 70 millimeter. I've been through several intakes, pipes. This is the most recent version. It's a 3-inch, basically custom made, where I just found a bunch of piping and just made it all work.
So is it a common thing for people to take ITBs from a Gixxer and put it on these motors?
It's not common anymore. That is old school technology.
What's your favorite thing about this car on the track?
She's light. She's light and nimble. I've changed the steering rack on it, so I don't need to use as much steering input. It has a quicker ratio rack, and that has changed the dynamic of the car completely. Like I can literally whip this thing around like it's nothing. It's basically, it's a tin can. It's a tin can that points and goes.
Now, if someone was looking to buy a EF CRX for a track/daily build, what advice would you give them?
Don't do it. Don't do it. They're so expensive now.
Seriously, don't do it.
It's, I would build a different chassis. Unless you're just going full like track spec, don't care about body panels or interior parts. These things are becoming so hard to restore. Now, thankfully, we've had a couple companies step up and start reproducing, you know, OEM parts. 3D printing has been huge. I have so many 3D printed parts on this car just because, like I said, it's all not offered anywhere else.
Now, does that worry you driving a car on track where if you do mess it up?
It is always in the back of my mind, unfortunately. And that is why I'm more reserved on the track than I could be, because this is my baby. I've gone so much through the suspension that I'm actually really happy finally with what I've got going on with it. I have the full honed developments catalog. So I have the full roll center correction, front and rear. It's a bracket they designed themselves to drop the lower control arms to a correct position, because when you lower a vehicle, you change the positions of everything. So this flattens everything out. In a race car world, you always want flat arms. So I have front and rear. I have the lower ball joints that are extended compared to the factory ones. Then I have the rear set. I have upgraded rear sway bar. It's a Progress 22. It's got a brace on it as well to help keep it stabilized because factory sway bar bolted in a totally different fashion. So they had to design a way to make aftermarket sway bars fit. It's on K-tuned coilovers, which are the street version right now. They're 10K, 6K. I literally just put those on. I have not tracked on it yet, so I don't have any feedback as far as how it handles on the track, but it drives so much better on the street compared to everything else I've tried. Spoon brakes, big brakes. I have an adjustable prop valve as well that's underneath the dash. I can literally just turn the knob to change the bias of the rear. I run hawk pads. Currently I'm on the HPSs. For the track I switched to HP Pluses. They bite harder. The car had DA rear trailing arms when I received it, so the wheels sat out further and things like that. So I went and changed the arms. Now it's got full hard race bushing sets in the rear. It's got the tow arm, the trailing arm bushing, the camber arm. That's all hard race. And to go with the suspension, I have a Quaife quick rack installed in my OEM steering rack. It takes the turns from, I think it's like 4 turns lock to lock. Now it's less than 3.5.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid $4,500. I had literally just sold my other CRX for $5,000 a year prior to that to a friend of mine. So it kind of worked out.
And how much would you say you put into it so far?
I don't really have a number to disclose on that.
If you had a guess, what would it be?
Jeez, I'd say about $10,000. I'd say $10,000. That's a fair number because I've put a different motor in this before and then ended up putting the original motor back into it. I've changed the interior several times. I've changed the suspension several times. So I've gone, just on this car alone, I've gone through it so many times, and every time it's purchase this, purchase that. So I would say it adds up to about that. So I have a race bred floor plate. Since the floor is not very flat here and my carpet's all tore up, I figured let me just put something to cover up the rest of the mess. And that helps with stability with the pedals because now my foot doesn't slip. I got the Chase & J's foot pedal, which grip really well. Also with their knob, this was the confetti boot that matched my confetti seats, but no longer is in my car. I have a 3D printed cup holder for those drives. So then driving to the mountains.
You 3D printed that and it was able to, was that spot already there?
So,
or no, it was the ashtray.
Yep, that's the factory ashtray. So this guy, which guy is, I don't know if this was Greg Parts or, there's a couple different guys that make things. I forget which one this is.
That's cool. And what's your goal with this track-wise?
Keep going back and forth on that because it is such a clean chassis. I don't want to go like full race car mode on it because I have the ability to go full race car mode on it. I'm currently at crossroads with that because I do have another chassis that I'm thinking about building. So I would probably keep it more or less like this, maybe add a roll bar just for some safety because I've had some instances. But you know, harnesses and a roll bar would probably be like the best thing I can do, you know.
So you 3D printed that gauge mount for the steering column?
So this is a Greg's Part 3D printed gauge bezel. So I've changed my gauges several times. This is the best iteration I've got right now. I had EFBs where the gauges went here, but then I want to put AC back in, so I got their one that had the air vent, but I didn't like where the air vent pointed. So I was like, well, let me go back to a factory one that I did gauges down here, but when I'm on the track, my focus is here, not looking down. So I was like, well, this doesn't work very well for track. So then I ended up with this. So I have my air fuel, I have my oil pressure, everything else is a dummy light. Really, honestly, I don't even need an oil pressure gauge. I just need a light that says, hey, you got no more oil pressure. That would be fine. I've gone back and forth on doing aero, like big wings, like you see all these, cars with gigantic wings and stuff. And like I said, I use the vehicle. And a lot of those wings, they either lock up your hatch, which I had on a white car, or it's not accessible enough. And like I take it on these trips, this thing's packed. I pack this thing to the roof with stuff. I bring half my garage with me when I go to the track and things like that. Now, granted, like road racing, I tow the car, so I'll throw all my stuff in the truck. But, autocrosses and stuff, it's like, I've never had anything really break, but it's always, being a mechanic, it's like I always need to make sure I have stuff. other than that, it's pretty much factory. You know, it's still got the glove box. It's got all the interior. Oh, this is a EG armrest that I made fit. I found a DIY. It attaches to the OEM e-brake handle cover. So, but now I have an armrest in here. That's my tire pressure monitor. This is the build I have put most of my blood, sweat, and tears into of any other vehicle. This is the vehicle I've owned the longest of anything ever since I started driving. So, but if something happened to it, I would be devastated, for sure.